Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, welcome to another episode of the Fighters Rep podcast. And I am absolutely delighted to be joined by Sensei Joseph Claycomb of Claycomb Karate, Claycomb Martial Arts Academy out in Fontana. Joseph, how are you doing, sir?
I'm great. Good to see you. Good to talk to you. Everything's awesome. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm always excited to talk to you and hear what's going on in the world of Claycomb Karate and catch up with you and talk about, what we usually talk about, and I said to myself, man, we always have such good conversations about combat sports, about what's going on. Sahten, by the way, about combat sports and about everything going on. And I said, man, we need to record one of these conversations for the record.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what I really wanted to talk to you about, Joseph, Sensei Joseph Claycomb, is you mentioned to me yesterday, we were just having a chat once in a while. That's what we do.
Right.
And you told me that you felt like Fighters Rep is a perfect sort of venue and rule set for karate, right? And for me, that's a very important, unique, but important thing that I want, the whole combat sports community to know, especially the traditional martial artists, those that practice karate, taekwondo, all the traditional martial arts. I want them to know, that they have an outlet to compete that's not just, karate tournaments. You know what I mean? Or taekwondo
Right.
tournaments.
Right. Well,
So you
actually,
said it's perfect for the rule set is perfect for karate. Kind of, take it
it
from there. I
is.
want you to elaborate.
Yeah, it is actually because sport karate is a striking sport. Fighters rep is a striking rules. There's no pauses. It's fast action. Um, we can use things in karate that we're not allowed to use in our own sport. So, for example, the pocket game, the close distance uppercuts, round punches, hook punch, uh, those scenarios we're allowed to actually get into. We're allowed to knee. We're not allowed to do any of that stuff in karate.
I see.
So,
I see.
so for me personally, when I started training MMA for my own personal, if you want to call it, fun, um, I was like, oh, you mean I can clinch you and I can throw you and I can actually, do all these things. I can sweep you. I don't have to get penalized. In point karate nowadays, even leg sweeps are restricted to a certain one hand grab. It's weird. So even point karate is not what it used to be. So
It's bad
it's
when
not a,
point karate is not what it used to be.
it's not. Point karate is not what it used to be. It's so it's more restricted. There's less techniques even being recognized by the officials when they get thrown, so people don't do them. And then the
Yeah.
rules just don't make so point karate that I came up on, if you got hit, it was hard and you knew you got hit. It wasn't like you didn't need a referee to tell you. You know, you got hit. And I trained basically, you were lucky if you had pads. We didn't have
Yeah.
pads. We were bare knuckle. So you had to have control because you're going to, hurt your training partners. So if you move fast forward from the 90s, 80s, and 90s, 70s, 80s, 90s era of karate, which was very hardcore,
Yeah.
what you see now is not. But either way, the restrictions that are found in point karate, it's like opening Pandora's box in Fighters Rep because we can do everything we are trained in. So people don't give karate the credit because they don't see it. They don't see that karate can do all these different techniques. They just see, what it shows on YouTube or TV or whatever they can see.
Right.
It doesn't express the art correctly. And back in the day, kickboxing was called full contact karate.
I see.
So, because it's not a Muay Thai rules, which makes it faster, what I want to say that what Fighters Rep Rules does for traditional martial artists, specifically traditional karate, and I'm not talking, Americanized Ninja Turtle karate. I'm talking real karate, Japanese karate, not the stuff you see on TV that they, none of that. Like real traditional martial arts. Kyokushin would be the only other style I would recognize as legit besides like a Japanese karate. So with that being said, the rule set of continuous fighting is ideal because you don't depend on a referee to say stop. You got a point. Number one, we have continuous things like, we call it ranzuku, means continuous. So ranzuku waza means continuous technique. We have combinations that we can flow with and flurry with in training, but we can't in point sparring.
Yeah.
In fighters rep, we can throw combinations. So that's one thing we're allowed to do now. It's like, yay, awesome. I can throw combinations now. Yay.
Which is to your point, a part of traditional karate, right? I mean,
absolutely.
That's something that's taught, and you guys are now unable to apply that in karate tournaments.
Yes, absolutely. So another thing is we can kick the legs. We're not allowed to kick the legs in karate tournaments.
What?
You know how? Yeah, unless you're doing a full contact Kyokushin, which doesn't allow face contact. So you see, in point fighting, in point karate, which is the JKA started that. So my sensei is Japanese. His sensei, Nakayama, he's the person who created sport karate, right? Mm-hmm. He created the rules. His sensei created the word karate. So just put it in perspective.
I see.
So it's not very far from the well where I'm coming from. But in the early 50s to 60s and 70s, sport karate kind of developed in Japan. And leg kicks were disallowed. Anything that was too dangerous. Same thing with judo. Judo restricted itself for the sport to not injure its players.
Yeah.
So karate, same thing, because there were no equipment. There was no gloves, headgear, none of that. It was knuckle on. You had to have control or you're going to injure somebody really badly. So leg kicks were not allowed. Kyokushin, on the other hand, was the first officially full contact karate, but they didn't have face punches. They had knees and leg kicks and head kicks, but none of that. So kickboxing, it's like you could be Kyokushin, you could be Shotokan like me, you could be any Japanese karate, you could be any other karate. You call it karate if that's what you want to do. But I know who is and who really isn't. So, so when it comes to, traditional karate being in a fighters rep rule set, thank you, BAM. Thank you, BAM, for writing these rules. That's awesome. I love that guy. But the rules are perfect, even for Taekwondo people, because they're allowed to kick the legs too. They're not allowed in Taekwondo to kick the legs. Yeah. So they don't have maybe a strong hand game necessarily, but still the rule set allows you to do so. You're restricted in the traditional martial arts to accentuate the art side of it. And people think that's the whole art. It's just the sport part of it. So I enjoy being able to do leg kicks. That's one of Michael's favorite things to do is leg kicks. Yeah. He never did that in tournament karate. It's like opening Pandora's box for us. So we have all the tools.
Yeah.
Now we're finally allowed to use them. And in MMA, we're allowed to use a lot more. But because we enjoy these rules the most, because a boxer can do really well in kickboxing. A karate guy can do really well in kickboxing. A Muay Thai person might feel restricted the way we feel about our own sport, in the sense that we can't do certain techniques. They can't catch the leg. They can't, elbow. They can't clinch for too long, one-handed clinch. So these rule sets really even the playing ground with everyone. And I think it's good for not only the sport of kickboxing to invite other traditional dojos or schools or styles to be able to have a platform that can be a professional end of the tunnel, if you want to call it. Like for example, you could be a professional boxer, you could be a professional MMA fighter, you can even be a professional jiu-jitsu player. Technically, they have
Yeah.
you know, Eddie Bravo and all that he has that stuff, sponsors and all that. There is no karate professional league except Karate Combat, but that's not enough. There's got to be more places that a karate person can go. And, you know, I've said it before, I personally don't like jumping from promotion to promotion. I want Michael to, you know, sugar bomb, and Raymond. I want them both because, you know, Rage and I coach them both, you know. I don't know if everybody knows, but Raymond and Michael are teammates. They are hardcore teammates together. Rage coaches both of them. I coach both of them. It used to be that, you know, just I'm Michael's coach and add some stuff here. But since we've joined, you know, forces together, all the things that Rage brings to the table and all the things that I bring to the table now, Raymond and Michael Sugarbomb just are, you know, and we feel that they can thrive in a single promotion. I mean, you know, I come from the mindset, like, why are professional basketball teams or other teams, they trade all the time, right? They trade for new players. Back in the day, teams used to grassroots build those players up, and they became the stars on one team, you know, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel it's not only our kickboxing rules in FightersRep ideal for us, but I feel it's ideal for us to grow as far as we can, infinity and beyond, in FightersRep. It's in our back. It's in our backyard.
Yeah, yeah.
It's in our backyard, and nobody does what, you know. And I'm just gonna say it, right. Nobody does what you do, George. So, you know, you promote the promotion. You have a YouTube, you know, channel. I love the fighters interviewing each other, you know, the interviews, the videos that you come to the gyms or the schools and you do the all these things that a lot of promotions are not doing. You know? But here's the thing, the action's fast. The other thing maybe we can say is not only is it ideal for a karate background, which we are the only ones. I invite every dojo I can possibly imagine to FightersRep. Please show up. Don't make us the only karate people, but go ahead and do so, because we'll just, you know, rise higher, I guess. But
for sure.
You know, but everybody should come. Everybody should do it. If you're a traditional karate person and you want to do more than just regular training and be a fighter, the best place to go to have a potential career even, and to get exposure and to have realistic fighting within a good rule set is FightersRep. There's nowhere else to go. There really isn't.
Much appreciated, Joseph. Guys, we're here with Sensei Joseph Claycomb of Claycomb Karate Academy. If you haven't already subscribed, follow him on Instagram at Claycomb Karate Academy or Joseph Claycomb. Follow us at FightersRep. And if you have any questions for Joseph, be sure to drop them in the chat. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and get your tickets to FightersRep 15, where two of Joseph's fighters, along with Coach Rage, Michael Claycomb, and Raymond Martinez, will be competing. And actually, Raymond, of course, is going to be fighting for a title
so
on
check
that
this
card.
out.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. You know, that's the thing I love about you guys, Joseph. I mean, we do our promotional stuff, but you guys do your own promotional stuff as well, and really put your guys out there. So you know, I definitely appreciate that. We got Stagger Lee Goods in the chat, by the way. Very loyal watcher of the channel, and I really appreciate you, Stagger Lee. He's actually got a fantastic store up in Northern California. Definitely check him out. He says, "Hermano, thanks for giving us more live streams." Hey, it's a pleasure, and we appreciate you guys joining us. And of course, any questions you have for me and Joseph, we're open to answering them. Now, Joseph, man, a lot of kind words there. And I love the fact that you guys are a traditional dojo coming out and competing. You know, like I told you yesterday, we do have a couple other ones, sort of like self-defense academy or even Jeet Kune Do based gyms that have signed up now. I think you may have started a bit of a snowball effect. At least I'm hoping. I'm
Well, good.
hoping so, because I mean, where else can you see, where else can there be an application of what you learned, and can you, determine whether it's effective or not in a safe, controlled environment? You know what I mean? I mean, MMA, like you said, it's a situation where they might just take you down and grind on you. You might have a wrestler, and there's no real border to entry, right? I mean, anybody can sign up for an MMA fight. Not to say that anybody can't sign up for a kickboxing fight, but if you're not at least
Not
specializing in
anybody.
striking, right?
Not
If you're not
anybody.
at least specializing in striking or trying to, right? It's not for this is not for a street fighter, really.
No, no. I was saying it before. Anybody, if you're, for example, if you are a not so good of a striker, you're just, maybe you're a grappler. You do a few months of striking anywhere, and now what most people do, okay, I'm a fighter now. I did a couple of hook punches and a couple of round kicks, and now I can go fight. But in MMA, that may be true because you can always try to go to your game, right? Yeah. And you don't have to be a great grappler in MMA to be good. I mean, you can be okay. You can just add the grappling on and continue with your striking game if you're good enough. The problem is the rules are advantageous to grapplers. So it's really actually not a fair. If it was fair, it should be like Pride rules. Pride rules, you had to be really exceptionally good at grappling as well as really exceptionally good at striking. In the current MMA rules, not Pride rules, there are certain things like that are considered restricted, 12-6, stuff like that.
Stomping on people's heads when they're down.
I mean, if you want to call it, ultimate, then you need to give the ultimate rule set for that, and then let's make it fair for everyone rather than restrict it. So you can't play into other people's strengths with a rule set. So with the rule set that we have at FightersRep that you guys have got, anybody of any striking art or sport can get in there, whether it's opening up their striking repertoire like it does for us because we train for those things and it gives us more options, or it's restricting your techniques like Muay Thai, where okay, you have to stop at this and this and focus on this. But either way, even for Muay Thai people, they're going to be able to show off their Muay Thai. Like, right. I mean, you got leg kicks, you've got one-handed clinch, you can do knees, and jab, cross, hook, uppercut is still a Muay Thai technique too.
And even though they're restricted in our rule set in that they can't two-hand clinch, they can't kick below the knee, they can't elbow, they're also not being stalled, right?
No,
they're also not being swept, so they're not being limited in other ways. Perhaps a guy has like really good cardio and that's his strength, and you could neutralize him by just clinching him the whole time, perhaps. But in our rule set, you can't, and that guy gets to run wild. And, there have been a lot of Muay Thai fighters on our shows that have really thrived,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I think Connor Bracken, you know what I mean? He's one of the main ones, right? I mean, he's straight out of Junction on the Wooden Man Muay Thai's gym, out of Wooden Man Muay Thai up north. And, he's become
look at that lineage. I mean, that lineage alone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an incredible lineage to begin with.
Right. But it doesn't seem like the rule set is bothering him. I mean, because Connor's such like a come forward, aggressive, like nonstop guy. And if you can't clinch him, you're going to have to fight him off. And nobody's been able to do it.
At the end of the day, I feel like it's like the rule set really determines the flow of the fight, the flow of the matches, the entertainment factor alone. Like, here's the thing that in like grappling, I appreciate grappling because I like grappling and it's fun to do. But when watching it, it's very hard for me to watch because
Yeah.
the action is so slow. Even like Greco-Roman wrestling, like one of my assistant instructors, he's an older, senior instructor now. He was a heavyweight in college, NCAA. So we have insights to wrestling even in my own academy.
Yeah.
But even college wrestling, it's hard to watch, but it's still faster paced than, no gi grappling or gi grappling in that sense.
Right.
And then MMA, if you get people that are just grappling on grappling, you see the crowd booing, you see this and that. There's none of that in FightersRep. I mean,
Right.
It's as fast paced as regular boxing.
The other thing I wanted to say too is, like, no disrespect to MMA. I mean, obviously it's a very popular sport for a reason, and no disrespect to the gyms. I mean, because we got a ton of MMA gyms that compete for us, and I think it's actually great for them if you take an approach, for example, like Chad George does, right, where he wants his guys to be the best in every facet of the game. So he's always, is almost always a CMMA fighter,
though, right? He takes them to the grappling tournaments. He takes them to the kickboxing. He takes them to the specialized areas that he wants them to go. He doesn't, he doesn't restrict his fighters. Which is good. And of course, look at the stand-up game they have.
Yeah.
So
I think it's great for the development of the guys that want to take their striking to the next level.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I can't agree more. I think I just think that more people need to try something new. Michael's doing it because Michael he's passionate about martial arts. Yeah. And let's remember, this is sport martial arts. People misinterpret sport martial arts with martial arts. Like, martial arts existed before sports. So, like, what we're doing here is just a piece of the pie. We're not doing the whole thing. This, even like, we say MMA, that's really not a mix of martial arts. It's really a mix of some techniques of the sports of martial arts, not all of, so we're not doing every single thing in karate and kickboxing, nor is a Muay Thai person doing every single thing, even in Muay Thai sport. There's more to learn well beyond. But when it comes to a rule set, you want one that's exciting. You want one that's fast and entertaining. You want one that's clean.
I think we have the best rule set. I maybe I'm biased, but I think our rule set is amazing.
Well, the people that are here are attracted to the rule set. FightersRep 9 was my first experience in FightersRep, and I came to corner with Coach Rage, Quincy Holland, and and I wasn't fully sure what this was about. We just thought there's only MMA, and we found out the grapevine, right? And when I came and saw, I was like, oh, well, definitely we can do this. Like, I was sold the minute I walked in the building. The minute I saw the ring, I saw the first fight, I was like, okay, we can do this. We can do this. And to be honest with you, we don't really need to outsource. I mean, Rage and I, obviously, we feed off each other's, and we have a very similar vision, me and Coach Rage. But, Coach Rage is, he's worked with some top people. Let's just throw, we throw a name out there. I mean, he's worked with Joe Hanks. He's worked with, he's worked with some pro boxers, like high, So Michael and Raymond get his, insight. And then I'm experienced in my own tournament, career overseas in America, from the old school days. And so, they get the best of both worlds in that regard. But FightersRep really attracts people like us that are enthusiasts about pure fighting. And I don't think it should make people feel like, oh, we don't do this. No, we all do this. Anyone who's a traditional, if you're a martial artist, you're encompassing everything in your journey. So striking is part of a martial art. I personally don't believe grappling does not exist in karate, because I've learned all my grappling that I do for street self-defense in karate. I don't have to go to
Mhm.
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Technically, jiu-jitsu people don't have to come to karate to learn how to do a round kick. They just need to study the roots of jiu-jitsu correctly. They're just focusing on the grappling side. So technically,
Right.
all martial arts are all encompassing, and it's all about the principle rather than the techniques, you know, but the focus became sport. This helps, Fighters Rep's rule set helps all martial arts that have a sport, because not all martial arts have a sport,
Yeah.
right? Like if you think about it, Jeet Kune Do does not have a sport,
Now it
right?
does.
Now, I mean, it has a kickboxing, right? But it doesn't have like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Jeet
yeah.
Kune Do World Grand Prix.
Right.
It doesn't have, you know,
Right. Right.
there's a lot of martial arts out there that don't have their own sport. They have to resort to, you know, the mainstream stuff.
Well,
And
kickboxing, well, would you say kickboxing is just a karate sport?
kickboxing essentially is a karate sport because that's
Yeah.
actually what its name was. It was full
Right.
contact karate. So it's not even like we're doing something new here. This is something just, we're just returning to something that was,
Right.
that, you know, is now again, not something that's brand. This isn't new. Kickboxing's legendary. I mean, just look it up. You know, I mean,
I know.
Benny the Jet Urquidez. Who doesn't know Benny the Jet Urquidez?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Dennis
mean,
Alexio.
you know, I mean, geez, monsters. You know, there's a
Bedr
lot
Ha-
of names.
Bedr Hari. Bedr Hari.
Bedr Hari. Oh my God, that guy's a beast. There are so many great kickboxers out there, and Dutch kickboxing even comes from karate. That's why they
Mhm.
call themselves Sensei and Us. Just go ask Boss Rutten that. Go ask Dwayne Ludwig. You know, he comes from a Enshin Ryu, which is derivative of Kyokushin. That's
Yeah.
why Dutch kickboxing has footwork very similar because it's karate based. So,
Nice. Nice.
so essentially, Dutch kickboxing is called Dutch kickboxing, but it is a karate root in its origin.
Yeah.
So, and Siamese boxing is known as Muay Thai. So, you know, kickboxing, the rules, the unified rules, that's what they are, right? They're called the unified rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, it allows us all from the different sports to join. And also, even if you haven't had any experience, well, I'm not used to elbows and knees. Okay, well, you don't have to worry about that. Oh,
Right.
I'm not used to, you know, this or that. Okay, you don't have to worry about that. I don't
Well,
want to
you'll
grab.
worry about the occasional knee, but nothing too crazy, right?
No, I
Just the
mean, what I mean
occasional.
by worrying about it means like, you know, you don't have to overthink it.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you know, like, yeah, you might get kneed, you know, but I mean, if you're trying to be a fighter, it doesn't matter what rule set you're trying to prepare for. You should be a fighter and just, you know, be aware that things can happen, you know, and that's
Yeah.
what being a fighter is. But also following the rules and learning to take advantage of the rules and work within the rules. And yeah, every traditional martial artist, or I would say every traditional karate school, taekwondo school, you know, any kind of traditional martial art should do kickboxing, especially at Fighters Rep rules, because it's not going to take them far away from what they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna bring them into a realm that, well, I mean, some of the best kickboxers in the world were taekwondo people. I mean, they throw their
Right.
feet out,
Right.
you know,
Right.
like it's a feather, you know, and they're known for their kicking. And then some people are known for their hands because they were just better at their hands, right?
Right. Right.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, that's why we're there, you know. And I have students that, you know, they're young still, but they're looking at Michael, and like maybe that's something they want to do. So 3-4 years from now, you might see more people from Claycomb Academy joining in.
I hope
You know, they
so.
might be a little younger, but you know, you might see that, you know.
I hope so. We look forward to that. We look forward that, we're hoping you're starting a trend here, and we hope to continue to build that trend because, I agree. I mean, I think this is a great venue for them to come, and it's a controlled venue. It's not a violent, barbaric sort of venue. That's not the atmosphere we've got at Fighters Rep. I mean, it's a good time. Everybody has a good time, but there's respect. There is, there is bravado. There is machismo, but it's respect
it's a
at
fight.
the end
It's
of
the
the
fight
day.
game, right?
Yeah,
It's the fight
yeah,
game.
yeah.
You got to have a little bit of that. I mean, I was looking at my son last fight, with Spirits, and he was licking his gloves for the crowd. I was like, "What are you doing?"
Oh, God.
he was looking at the crowd, and there was some blood on the glove, and he just licked it off his glove. And the crowd went
Oh,
crazy,
my
and I'm like,
God.
"All right, well, he's turning into a showman now." Uh, Mr.
I
Michael.
love that. I love
But
that.
I was like, okay, all right, he's taking it there. So, that works. And you got to have a little showmanship. You got to have a little showmanship because you're
Yeah.
selling yourself too. I mean, I really think it's great. We're in Commerce. That's the best venue you could possibly. I'm sure there's other venues, right? Somewhere out there, but Commerce is central. Everybody can get to it easily. It's a big venue. The hotel is nice. And even if you don't stay the night, In-N-Out's across the street. I mean,
You gotta come. You gotta come. You gotta get your tickets at FightersRep.com because, Joseph, we have got the best card we've ever had, man. And I know I say that every time, but
you're
this
right every
card,
time.
oh, I am. These guys always bring it. I'm not even gonna take credit for it. These guys and gals always bring it. It's gonna be lit at the Commerce Casino. It's gonna be lights and smoke and
Is there going to
action
be a
in the
sword dance
production.
this time? Is there going to
Oh,
be a sword?
man. We'll have something in store. We'll have something in store. So, guys, definitely get your tickets at FightersRep.com and watch the live stream if you can't make it. Which, Joseph, they don't have any excuse not to make it. There's a hotel there. They can fly out from wherever they're at and spend the night with us and have a great time watching this sport grow and the best fights they've ever seen. But if you can't, something happened, you got COVID, whatever it is, you could join the channel and watch the fight. We got Jeremiah Love in here, Joseph. He's saying,
Jeremiah
let's
Love.
go. And then he says, os.
That's one of our students. Yep. So, yeah, he's one of our kids that I think they came to the fight the last time or the first time maybe, or they've come to a couple of fights. So they're definitely a Sugar Bomb fan. So
Yeah.
And so they do really well. But we're trying to build something beautiful. Michael's dedicated, and people like him, and I think that's really what it's about too. I really love the environment at Fighters Rep. I've said this before. I've been to some different promotions and like multiple different types of sports, MMA, Muay Thai, kickboxing. I've been to, a few different types of sports. And this one is the most welcoming. Your promotion is the most family friendly, I want to say. And I think
man. Thank you, bro.
I really believe that. I bring my own family to the fights. When Michael fights, my daughter's there, my wife's there, my 11-year-old's there, my brother's there, my
big shout out to the Claycomb clan. Always great fans out there making noise.
We got to make noise, and that's part of it,
And they roll deep. You guys roll deep for Michael and Raymond, man. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, we
buying out
people didn't realize
buying out the front row. Say that again.
I said people don't realize who came to the show last time. So the last time to the last fight, we had Shinzo Michida, brother of mine. I mean, he's a friend of mine.
True.
Right. And he came specifically to see Michael, and he liked Fighters Rep, and he saw like this is kind of a cool thing, And then I had a former national team USA coach for the American team and the Iranian team.
Wow.
Came and watched Michael because one of my former senseis also, and he used to coach the national team. He's a former world champion in karate when karate was, a little harder than that point stuff we see now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
A school of hard knocks, basically. So, there's been some Val Mihailovich. This guy is a legend.
Right. Big
I
shout
brought
out
him
to
in,
Val.
and Masters Magazine, they covered FightersRep, and
Big shout out to them.
Val is he's too humble to say it, but he's a master of the leg sweep. He'll toss anyone upside down and twice on Sunday. And,
Shout out to Val, man, and Masters Magazine, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. The karate community is big, but it's also small. Like it's not too vast. I know pretty much everyone. That's why I always say, "Hey guys, come on down. Come see this." I always invite every sensei I can. And there's a dojo in Long Beach actually with a K called Combat Karate. They just opened down in Long Beach, and they saw us at Hardworks for the media day that one time. I'm like, "Oh, you guys are in Long Beach?" I'm like, yeah. So hopefully they come down. He just opened his dojo too. So I'm liking the fact that there's dojos opening up, and they are, interested in that and what we do now too. So shout out to Combat Karate,
I
with
love it,
Sensei Mooney. It's Sensei Mooney. His name is Mooney. So, there's a lot of people that just need to get in the action. I want to say that, probably the best part about it is if this is a career path that you want to choose, it's possible to happen, you don't want to rush, obviously, but what's the minimum, for example, for a fighter if he wants to come up in the amateur ranks and then go pro? What's the minimum requirement, like fight wise, like number of fights?
Pro?
Yeah, for example.
To be honest with you,
or 5, or is it?
I don't even. I'm not even sure what the state of California is requiring right now.
I know it's 3 for headgear, right? Still,
it's 3. It's 3 to get rid of the headgear, and then you're still an amateur. So I would imagine this is probably something we could look up on CSAC's website. I'll drop it below in the description or something. But off the top of my head, I don't know exactly how many fights they want.
But you could potentially, like, if you say you're experienced in karate or taekwondo, and you adjust your training to the FightersRep rule set, the unified kickboxing rules, you could potentially, if you're a competitor already, if you're, I'm not just talking like somebody who just started training, a year ago or 6 months. I'm talking like, you're a competitor, right? You already know what it's like to compete and be in shape and get ready for your tournaments and whatnot. This is just a slight adjustment of making sure you're on, the same page with the rules and understand, you can do what you want. You don't have to hold back. That's the other cool thing about full contact. Is that you're no longer holding back. So, that allows us to unleash what we can't in the point karate, so potentially you could become a pro, if this is for you. It makes it a lot easier. We've had rule set.
Yeah, we've had a bunch of people debut on our card. Now I know they have to fill out a debut information sheet,
right?
But and it has to describe like everything they've done as an amateur. Their coach has to attest to it and sign it.
Right.
It's crazy. Like they want a detailed description of your, what you're doing, your cardio, your bag work, the number of rounds you sparred and who you sparred and stuff like that. It's very detailed, but as far as the amount of fights, I'm not sure. I'm actually looking at the sheet right now. I don't see.
But it's
okay, I see.
Easier, right?
Okay, no, that's not it. That's not it.
It's probably a lot easier to become a pro kickboxer and convert to anything else you want to do than the other way around. I mean,
oh yeah,
I feel like if you become a kickboxer, and you become a pro kickboxer, you can go several different, you can go to boxing, because the rule set encourages that onslaught and the fast paced,
The
boxing
aggressiveness.
techniques. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Like
we've seen it with guys. We've seen it with guys like Algieri. Chris Algieri was a former kickboxing champion and became, a really good boxer. And there's another guy, I think his name is Troy Dixon. I want to say his name was Troy Dixon, a guy out of Texas who was at the same time a kickboxing and boxing champion. I believe
mm,
that's his name. But yeah, there have been a ton of guys. I remember another Russian guy, Denis Grachev, was a former. This is a funny one. The Klitschko's
uh,
were, I believe, kickboxers, and they
were
became
they?
champions. I
And they
believe
went into
so.
boxing and became really successful.
I believe so. And then of course there's Mahmoud Shar, Manuel Char, who's I got to shout him out. Syrian born, heavyweight champion in boxing right now, who I think he started out as a kickboxer or either kickboxing or Muay Thai. He started out, I want to say kickboxing, and Syrian born. So I got to shout him out. And now he's in Germany. And he's one of the current heavyweight boxing champions. He's got one of the, like 4 of the 5, major belts. I think he's
Right.
got the regular version of one of the belts, but still, that's a hell of a accomplishment for a kickboxer. You know what I mean? So,
Well, I mean, the thing is I feel like, if you become a pro kickboxer, you can go to MMA, you can go to boxing, you can go to karate combat. Who's to say UFC is the destination?
Right. And then
I don't like saying UFC is my goal because I don't believe UFC is the be all end all. But I do believe in having, the options to explore if you want to. Maybe
you got guys like
what you want to go.
Right. Well, you got guys like Israel Adesanya, right, who went into MMA. You've got Alex Pereira now, who's followed him from Glory
Anderson
over
Silva.
to MMA.
Anderson Silva was a kickboxer before he went in. He became the greatest of all time, in my opinion. I don't care what anybody says.
And who was the big heavyweight champion? The Dutch guy? I forget his name. I think he was Dutch.
In MMA?
Overeem.
Yeah.
He did both. He did both.
I don't remember if he became UFC champ. I think he did.
He knocked out Brock Lesnar. I think he knocked out Brock Lesnar and became champion, I want to say.
But then, there's a lot of people that can also cross over, to kickboxing, vice versa. I mean, so it's not necessarily just, kickboxing to other sports. It's, let's, talk about other sports into kickboxing.
Right.
So in that regard,
For sure. Well, Joseph, listen, man, I really appreciate your time today. We've kept you. I know you got some stuff going on.
We got class in about 10 minutes, gotta go do those. We gotta do those katas tonight, because everybody thinks kata is something, but they don't realize that's the secret sauce.
I love it. I love it. We do have an example of that on the YouTube channel. If you guys want to watch Joseph and his son, Michael Sugar Bomb Claycomb perform it is there. But Joseph, again, really, I thank you. You're such a great, person to have on the promotion, along with your fighters, your son, and Ray Martinez. And we're so blessed to know you and to be able to sit down and talk to you. And we look forward to, doing a lot more with you in the future and hopefully getting more great talent out of Claycomb Karate Academy.
Well, we're working on it. We're working on it. We're officially a team. Rage and I are a team now. So Raymond and Michael coming out as fighting out of Claycomb Academy or Claycomb Karate Academy and the IR division.
I love it.
That's kind of how we are synonymous with each other. In other words, we're Claycomb Karate Academy and IR division. So
for sure.
That's huge for me. And, people don't realize how huge that's going to be. But we're going to find out September 3rd when that belt's in my dojo with Ray's name on it.
I look forward to it. We'll see. May the best man win. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon so you know every time we drop a new video. Thank you for joining me and Joseph for the Fighters Rep podcast. We're going to be doing this live, Joseph, pretty much every Monday. You know, it'll either be midday or later at night.
I love
but
it.
That's what we're aiming for. And of course, we're going to be dropping content almost daily besides that.
I love what you're doing. I mean, you know, I've gotten to know so many fighters. I'm a fan of Bracken. I like his demeanor, the way he comes out. You know, I like Iron Man. I know he lost his title last time, but I really like, you know.
It's a great guy.
Yeah,
he's a great fighter and a great guy.
Yeah. And, you know, Moss is he's a nice person. Justin Moss is a nice person. Yeah. And then, you know, there's a few other fighters out there that, you know, like we all like watching Jason Granado. He's a nice kid, you know, to watch. Rasuli, we got to get him back. There's so many fighters that we have encountered that are just top notch.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't know them if it wasn't for Fighters Rep.
Right. Well, I appreciate that, Joseph. Shout out to Stagger Lee Goods. He says, thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys joining us. Again, subscribe. Follow Joseph at Claycomb Karate on Instagram. Follow us at Fighters Rep. We're going to see you guys soon. Joseph, any parting shots before we hang up on everyone?
You know what? Just as the man said, see you guys September 3rd. You know, subscribe to the channel. Get that pay-per-view to go to the live stream. Buy your tickets. I mean, you know, $50 tickets. I buy front rows. So I get front rows and, you know, but it's totally worth it. What else are we going to say? You know, just show up. Let's party together.
See you guys there. Thank you, Joseph.
All right. Take it easy.